Hey guys, Indie Prepper here. We're talking about German military surplus folding stoves that I just picked up from Maine Military Supply. Didn't know anything about Maine Military Supply before until I watched a vid from the new survivalist, aka Survival Doc. Kind of wish I had that name myself, but MD Prepper is what I got. He claimed it first, so it's his. Anyway, he did a review on this not too long ago. Looked up the website, Maine Military Supply, and said, what the heck, I think these are worth the cash. Little folding stoves, very similar to our little Esbit stoves, all that, your Coughlin survival emergency stoves and all that, for a ridiculously low price. They're about $2.50, I believe, to $3 a piece per, stove. But if you buy in bulk, you buy in a 5-pack, you get them for about $2 a piece. If I think correctly, I believe they were $2.50 a piece, baseline, and $2 for a 5-pack. I bought lots of them. I won't say how many. I bought a lot. Just because they were cheap. Ordered some bandanas and some other stuff from them just to round out the purchase, just to see what I could get from them. But for $2 a piece for this little kit, this is fantastic, I think. I like it a lot. Used one of them downstairs on the, on the fireplace and all that just to play around with. Did very well. It's much cheaper than our standard little Coughlin's store-bought, big brand, big store-buy purchases out there. Again, for $2 a piece, this is just about disposable. You can use it and throw it away for $2. I would if I had to. Now, I don't think I will. I think I want to save them, restock them, whatnot. But again, $2 a piece, nothing wrong with this. So, let me show you this to you here. Up front, it's steel construction, will attract a magnet. Very well made. Now, unlike the standard stoves, you cannot just open it by pulling it open. Here's what you got to do. Pull it apart, push it up. There it is. Basic little emergency camp stove. Put your canteen on the top, put your pot, pan, whatever you got to boil water. It's a camp stove. You know what these are. I'm not going to go into all the finer particulars of a camp stove. So, let me show it up close. There it is. Little packets down below. Now, let me take the little packets out. There's no air holes in the bottom, nothing like that. No venting in the bottom side of this thing. So it's nice and compact, relatively watertight compared to your standard, Coughlin stove, all that, the Coughlin's emergency stove. I'll show you that here in a second. Comes with 2 containers here of your fuel. It's got a break in the middle of each of them. So this is only 4 pieces of fuel there. But you can add your standard Esbit Tabs in there, which we'll show you in a second. But 4 of these burn a lot longer than Esbit's, from what I've seen. And fold up real small and nice. Very nice, very small, pocket size, about the size of a pack of cards. A little bit larger. And I just think this is better overall for small size, lightweight packing, that type of stuff, your bug-out bag and all that, than your standard Coughlin stove. You may want the little Coughlin emergency folding military style stove. That's fine, no problems. I've got those, been using those for years, but saw these and said, I like German construction. German's good stuff. They tend to over-engineer everything. I think this is nice, especially for $2 a piece, especially with the quantity I ordered. But anyway, the stats on this thing for size, let me fold it back down here so we talk about that. It is 3.5 inches long, 2.5 inches wide, and a 1/2 inch deep, which is notably smaller than our Coughlin stove. So you're not going to be able to carry nearly the amount of fuel in it, but I've always thought the Esbit stoves, the standard folding stoves and all that, maybe carried too much. There's a little too large, in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe you disagree. But again, this I can carry in my back pocket. The other one I can't. So, how many little pots of water do you need to boil up, in a camping trip, if you don't have standard fire sources, campfire, all that, or purifying with bleach? I'd say not that much, okay? I'd say this is a general backup, in my opinion, if you can't build a stove, a fire and all that. It's okay. These are great. Love them. Used them a lot, but are these my go-to for standard general purpose? No, these are my second line, personally. So, Anyway, let's bring out one of my little Coughlin's folding stoves. Sorry it's here on the cheap paper plate, kind of ghetto, but yeah, whatever. This is an older one. It's rusted all to heck. I've used this thing, so I don't want particulate and stuff on my little Chimogan presentation here. I just don't want to clean that up after the fact. So, as we can see, tremendous size difference between these two. Now, they're obviously going to affect carry capacity and all that, but I think I like this one better. I've been carrying these for a lot of years, my packs and all like that. I think I like this one a lot better for a day or two hike, or expedition, whatnot. I think these are better. Smaller overall. Let's compare sizes. Let me lay those out there so you can hopefully see them. Again, I apologize for the paper plate, but hey, what you gonna do? Alright, little German stove is 3.5 inches long. The larger Coughlin's is 4 3/4. The width is 2.5 on the smaller German versus 3.5 on the Coughlin stove. The width, the thickness, I suppose, of the German stove is 1/2 inch. The thickness of your Coughlin stove is 1 inch. So overall, you've got 3.5 by 2.5 by 1/2. Which, let's just talk about surface area here, not the total volume, but that's 8.75 inches overall. Over here, we've got 4 3/4 by 3.5 by 1. Again, just doing the basics of this dimension here. That's 16.625, something like that, square inches. So 8.75 versus 16.625. This one's half the area of this one. This will fit much easier in a back pocket, in a cargo pocket, something like that. Obviously lighter because it's going to have less stuff on the inside and all that. Now, it's not going to have as much burning capacity, but again, how much do you need? This one comes with 24 tabs. 24 tabs. That is a lot of water boiling. I think it's a little excessive, personally. I don't know. Me personally. Let me open this thing up. This is not all the tabs I've used in this thing, but these are some replacements I've had. 12 in the original packet and 12 in, well, what was the upper packet. The stacks, you know, too high and 4 by 3. So 24 tabs, that is a lot of water. You know, that's a lot of purification. I'm not going to knock that. I don't have any problems with the overall capacity of this thing. That's fine. I just think this is probably more economical on size and weight and all that. So let's get this one out of the way and talk about this little kit. Again, you got these 4 bars. I'd probably replace these. I'd use these up as quick as I could. Personally, they're fine. They're going to get the job done. Nothing wrong with that. But 4 boils, well, they'd be 4 longer boils than you're used to with your standard little round tabs here. But that's fine. Nothing wrong with it overall. I may take these out. You know, use these quickly, whatnot. You know, save them for power outage, something like that. What I'd probably do is add our standard little tabs here. I'm not going to sit here and load the whole thing up perfectly, but the best I can maneuver this thing, it will hold, this little stove will hold 8 tabs. So 8 decent boils of water. I mean, try to fit that in there. I'm not going to try too hard in case I screw it up. There you go. 8 tabs. Folds up. Secures nicely. Rattles around a bit if you want to secure this in a little plastic sack on the outside or on the inside. If you want to put a little plastic sack with these tabs, that's going to be fine. Either way you want to do it, keep these things watertight. But overall, I'd say this container is much more watertight than our little Coughlin stove, which has holes all in just every area, okay? If this thing gets wet, your tabs are going to get wet. And yes, your tabs come in plastic little wrapper, but once you break one, it's going to be available to moisture and all that. You can hear it rattle around a bit, but it's not too bad. If you wanted to break up pieces of something, you could. You know, what I'd probably do is stuff some cotton balls in here, just because I like cotton balls, because cotton balls are useful. So, 8 tabs, out in the woods. I think that's enough. 8 burns, 8 pots of water. That's decent. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, you've got your originals here with your Original German instructions, all that written on them, which I don't speak German, so I don't talk about those. But the basic little kit here, let's take these out, for $2, 4 burns, and a little stove, very small, very compact, very pocket-sized, in my opinion. For $2 is tremendous. That's great. That's good stuff. Small, lightweight. Was at Walmart tonight. Looked at our standard old Coughlin's here. Yeah, much better condition than this one, of course. About $8. $8 versus $2. I'm gonna go $2. Sorry, no, $8. No, I have lots and lots of these. I can throw them away if I need to. Do whatever I need. If I want to throw these away, I want to give them away as gifts to other people, and I did that today. Gave them away to one of my staff who's interested in prepping and survival and all that. Secretary. Gave her one of these just because she did not have a folding stove. Could I have spent $8? I could have. I prefer to spend $2. She'll appreciate this just fine. So, little German folding stove for $2. If you buy 5 of them. So, 5 times 2, $10. That's cheap enough. Again, that's about the price of one of these. What can you say? Well, one of these is worth 4 of these. I'll take these small ones. I think these are going to be fine. I put some pots on the top and all that. I don't have anything bad to say about them. Again, if you want to buy extra little fuel tabs, you can get those at, any outdoor survival store, camping, whatnot. Good to go. Going to last you plenty of time. You can carry extra of these outside the pack if you need to, outside the stove. Honestly, I think 8 tabs per person is more than enough. So, just my thoughts on this. For $2 a piece, I think they're a must-buy. Again, I bought a bunch of them just because I could. Alright, rambling on enough. MD Prepper, out.